Yaara is a 2020 Hindi action crime drama film directed by Tigmanshu Dhulia and stars Vidyut Jammwal, Shruti Haasan, Amit Sadh, Vijay Varma and Kenny Basumatary. The movie is a remake of the 2011 French film A Gang Story, and I have not seen the original, so I'm just judging this off of the remake itself as a standalone film. The movie basically focuses on four guys, and it was a disappointment. I don't know if I can call this disappointing, because there are parts of the movie which I felt really great about, because I was glad some of those scenes were there. Vidyut Jammwal, none of these performances were anything that, I mean, they're great, but it wasn't anything special, It wasn't something which I can go out loud and say that these performances were awesome like in most of these other movies. Vidyut Jammwal is an action dude. You really, if you haven't noticed that from him by now, he speaks more with his fists than with his expressions. So him being in another action movie wasn't really all that surprising. What surprised me though was that this movie was originally supposed to go to Irfan Khan back in 2014 or something when production started. But there were so many complications, and because nobody wanted to release this for such a long time, this was eventually planned for a theatrical release, and because of the COVID pandemic, even that also got stalled. So their only option was to release it in OTT. You can find this on Z5 if you want to watch this movie. And for me, I'm like, go ahead. It's nothing great, but it's one of those films that are great for passing your time. The songs are really good. The lyrics are one of the things which I loved, but what I hated with respect to the songs are the way they were placed and the execution of these songs. There was nothing good. Every time I watched it, it felt very weird from the rest of the movie. The lyrics and the way it was sang or it was sung is really very good. It's just that I felt like they could have used the execution a lot better, and we'll get to the editing in a minute, because my god, the editing. Shruti Haasan was one of the main hook for me, because I really wanted to see Vidyut Jammwal with Shruti Haasan, and when the trailer promised me that one got hooked me into watching this. If both of them were not there in the trailer or in the movie itself, I probably would have given this a pass, unless it was Irfan Khan and Manoj Bajpayee and the director himself in the movie. On a normal day, this was one of those movies which I would have passed and then hesitated with, like I did in Fault in Our Stars. I made a review of that, you can check it out here. It was really not that interesting, but the story had so much potential in it. The concept seems very, very interesting. I really don't know what went wrong here. Mostly Shruti Haasan, in the trailer she's there for 2 scenes. That's pretty much her entire role in the movie. She doesn't have anything to do but sit and talk with the hero. There's even a romance point, and the way they place the songs in that, it felt like I was watching Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gham for a moment there, because you are in this periodic level, intense level shit, and the romance has started, and then it jump cuts to some other music video, which felt very off for a movie like this. And watching most of these songs, it felt very short, the songs, but it wasn't the length I was pissed off at, it was the execution. There are many shirtless scenes which are just kind of pointless. I'm like, why? Vidyut Jammwal does his action good, but in terms of the story he's in, I really doubt he'll be that good of a fighter. When he gets old, he starts doing martial arts and shit, and wow. And the villains are really downplayed here. It was very underwhelming watching any of these people. I didn't really give a shit about any of them. The only character that I liked in the entire movie is an extended cameo by Sanjay Mishra. He plays Chaman. He's there for 10-15 minutes. That's the only character which I liked, and I really didn't care for anything else. The second half promises a bit more with a lot of surprises. Even from once you start the movie, it's like every 30 minutes there's going to be a twist. if you haven't watched a lot of Bollywood, most of these can surprise you, but I have watched a lot of these movies, and by the time it got to those twists, I was so bored. I was half expecting something to happen at that point, so I wasn't really like, wow, what, really? Well, you know, when those twists came. One of the worst aspects in the movie, apart from the characters, is the screenplay and the editing. I hate the editing in this. There are some bizarre choices by the editor, and I don't know if it's because the editor and the director never saw eye to eye with, you know, any of it. I don't know. There were some scenes which felt like it wasn't planned well, you know, when they edited it. There are many scenes in the movie which seems like it lacks any sort of planning, which felt like it just was mashed together, and there you go. Even though this movie had like 6 years prior to the OTT release, you could have had so many changes to the movie in terms of editing and the screenplay, because the screenplay, like, you're watching something happen in one timeline and then it immediately shifts, and then I don't know, it just felt very off in the movie when it happens. There were some times which I felt like, oh wait, which timeline am I on? I was just watching the Vidyut Jammwal in the old one. Oh, okay, we're back in the old timeline. There are some times which I got confused. It wasn't a lot, just in a few scenes. And it's because of all this that I'm giving Yaara a 5 out of 10. It's an average movie. The movie is fine if you're just there to pass your time. Wow, I didn't mean that for it to rhyme, but well, but seriously, it's one of those underwhelming movies for me. I can see some people that might like it, those who are really into action movies, but even then I can really point you to Extraction or the Old Guard movie, which are far better in terms of action movies. Or if you would like Vidyut Jammwal, I suggest you go watch the first Commando movie, which is more survival than action, but it's there. It's one of his best movies, which I can say right now. All in all, this movie, I would say watch it if you're a Vidyut Jammwal fan. Shruti Haasan just exists in the movie. She's there. Like any random person would have done her job. With what she's offered, she does well, but then again, she barely had anything to do in the movie, so you could have replaced it with anyone, or you could have just taken her out. But it's an Indian movie, so a romantic angle is a must. I don't know why in every movie that needs to happen, but you know, it's there. One last thing which I forgot to mention were the characters. The movie is focused on these 4 friends and how they get into trouble each and every time, and there are some situations in the movie which, I don't know, you don't really get into it, you know, that every single time when in the young flashback, it's always they're into trouble after trouble after trouble. And that's how they amassed all this wealth and everything. That's how they're showing it. And then there's a Maoist movement in the movie, and overall it's, I don't know, it just didn't grab me. And if you're into a Tigmanshu Dhulia film where you're there just to have something to watch for around, I don't know, this much runtime, I don't know, but it's just to pass your time, and you don't really mind, you know, an immersive story or an engaging storyline, then this movie is fine. Just don't expect much from it, and I think you'll work out fine. And that's all for my review of Yaara. Thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciate it. And if you like this video, please hit that like button, share this video with your friends, hit that subscribe button, it's right over there, that red button, and hit that bell icon so that you'll be notified of my videos. And I'll see you in my next video, which will be Shakuntala Devi. I'm trying to review all the 4 movies now. Anyhow, I'll see you in that video. Bye.